Hi guys, how you going? Campbell here from Autodidactic Channel. Hope you're having a splendid day. And today I thought we'd have a bit of a look at Canberra, which is the capital of Australia. And some of the buildings there and a bit of the geomancy as well that's going on in the layout. So let's get into it. Alright guys, so this is Canberra. I'll just zoom out. Now if you don't know Australia, this is the bottom corner of Australia. So we have Victoria, this is where all the lockdowns are at the moment. This is Melbourne, of course in black. Sydney is up here. And Tasmania, Queensland, Northern Territory, South Australia, and I live over here in Perth. Here. The most isolated city on the world, as you can see. We're just surrounded by desert and ocean. Not much there. So on the other side, this is basically in Australia, most of the population is on the east coast. Like about 80% of it. And like all on the coast, you know, all this is being blown out in it's all basically a blast zone in the centre of Australia. So Canberra, this is, as you'll see, it's actually totally within New South Wales. So New South Wales is a state, this area here. Canberra is completely inside, so it's its own territory inside a state. And as we come down in here, you'll notice a few things pretty much straight away. Interesting shapes in the ground. So this is what was on the screen before. Of course, we have this big hexagon with a nice circle in the middle, and of course we've even got the six-pointed sort of star there in the middle. We also have a Pac-Man building. Alright, and as you can see, this hexagon actually goes out further. You know, there's just geomancy everywhere here. I'm going to turn this around. And here we go. Can you see that? So here we have our pyramid going up to the capstone, which is Capitol Hill. These are roads, and this is our new Parliament House here. And as you can see, it completes the pyramid with the capstone. And they've circled the square as well. So lots going on here. Here we have some more very interesting geomancy shapes. Almost looking like an antenna, isn't it? Of course, lots of hills, strange shaped buildings. And if you follow the boulevards, you know, like here, there's all these boulevards, like this. And at the end, you always get interesting buildings. So this is, I believe this is old Parliament House. Oh no, sorry, this is the War Memorial, of course. And look at the size of this, huge, huge dome. And when we have a look at it from the sky, you'll see that that's it. This is the big half dome here we've got here. And boulevard going straight down to another circle. And if we open up, it keeps going. So here, more geomancy. And then we have this building now. What's this? Is this old Parliament House? Old Parliament House. So it's almost like a map. You can follow this stuff around. Let's just have a look. And this was built in 1901. And in 1901, Canberra, there was nothing there at all. accept a few buses. But look at the size of that building. It's massive. Old world, like all the old other, Parliament buildings. Now, since they built the new Parliament House, this is now called the Aboriginal Embassy, I believe. It's actually been completely refaced, refacaded. It looks like a completely different building now than it did, 30 years ago. So I'll show some photos of that later. But I just wanted to, show you how these cities, especially the capital cities, are laid out. And you can see that is within the pyramid, and here's the new Capitol Hill, the new top of the pyramid. And just around here, just stuff everywhere. And just for comparison, this is Washington, D.C. So if we go down here, you'll start to immediately see many of the same features. We have these circles, boulevards. Of course, there's always the golf courses. Always the golf courses to hide there. Whatever they need to cover up. That's a nice mausoleum. What's that? Just going to have a quick look. So this is Washington, D.C. So I don't know this city. Here we go. Look at that. Wow. Huge rotunda. Just sitting out as you do. So golf course here. So what we want to look at is this huge boulevard. And these things just stick out. You can find them in most capital cities. And I'll just change the view a bit here. Okay, can you see it now? Okay, so here we have our pyramid. Down here, boulevard down the middle. There's some interesting stuff down there. And this is Capitol Hill, and of course this is the capstone. You see, the building is actually the capstone because the pyramid is not finished there. It's finished in the building. Obviously heaps of geometry and geomancy going on around here. This is the reflecting pool, the reflection pool. And reflection pools, they originate, the whole reflecting thing. I'm not saying that the pool was put in for this region because the actual water is probably, I think, is from the old world. But it's been, the meaning has been reversed as always. So reflection pools are for scrying and fortune telling. It's like a mirror pool. Interesting that it's right in front of the Capitol building, right? Fortune telling. And then down here, this huge boulevard. I mean, look at this thing. And it keeps going. But look what we have here. We have Vesica Pisces with a huge obelisk in the middle of it. If you don't know the meaning of that, the Cabal meaning, the Archonic meaning is that's like life reproduction, the woman, the man. I'm not sure if that's the original meaning though. And as you can see, this just keeps going. We've got more. What's that? Oh gosh, that's a stadium. Okay, because we need a bit of noise vibration input. This probably used to be water, I would say. Oh, it is still water, reflecting pool. Okay, yep, cool. And down here, they've squared the circle again a bit. It's a rectangle, it's probably golden ratio. I'm not even sure what the buildings are. Is that the Lincoln Memorial, maybe? Don't know. Someone will let me know. But as you see, it keeps going down here. What we have here, but looks like a bit of a hill. Lots of covered up stuff. And this, another amplifier. Another reflection pool. I mean, it's just all the same stuff everywhere. So there we go. Washington, D.C. And just look at these strange shaped buildings. And that, that half circle, we see that everywhere. I'm wondering if that is to represent like, a cup, like a goblet, the Holy Grail maybe. And as you can see, it's like an as above, so below type thing. Of course, it may have other meanings. We've also got an X in here pretty much. Oh, very, very interesting stuff. And of course, yeah, I will point this out, the island. And all these old cities have their own man-made canals with man-made islands in them. See how straight. What's happening here? These edges here are. They don't look natural really. Look like a flooded out man-made canal. Oh, there it is. That's what I was looking for. These bends, they're just everywhere. Whenever you find an old world star city, if you look for the canals, they've always got these bends in them. And what I'm thinking is it's got to do with water restructuring, because they all also have these islands. Now these ones you can see they're not full islands. You know, something's gone on here. You can see all the sand in the water. And I think what's happening is the water's coming around, it's being, you know, made to move around those bends, and then it hits these islands. And it splits the water into two different currents, right? Two different currents. And so it charges the water. It splits the currents as the water charges forward. So you get restructured or energized water, re-energized. As it flows around, it just, picks up energy and oxygen and all that good stuff. Okay, so back at Canberra, of course, you'll notice a huge mountain on the side of the city. Of course, it's called Black Mountain. And up the top here, there's a huge, you can see it there, huge spire, huge antenna. That's down there. Oh, look at that. Oh, it looks like we're on top of it. Oh, we've got a worker. Hi, guys. And there it is. Look at that. I wonder what they're doing in there. What are the signals? So that's on Black Mountain. And this, we're told, is a completely designed and built city. So basically, they found the land and they literally put out a competition. They're saying there was nothing there at all, just desert. And they put out a competition, come and design our city. And the winner was a man called Walter Burley Griffin, and you can see this lake is still named after Walter. And again, we have these points jutting out to make the water move. And another great feature which we showed in Washington is, you know, the golf courses and all these covered up bits of stuff we see everywhere. There's clearly stuff under here. I don't even know what these are, car parks maybe. But yeah, you see everywhere. Here's another one by the looks of it. Private golf course right next to this nice geometric installation. There's another one down here. And another one down here. I mean, so this stuff, you know, there's definitely golf courses have definitely got a lot to do with it. It's just basically, this is how they're covering stuff up. You know, you build a golf course, you can take over a lot of land and you can just cover everything up, and, you know, people aren't going to go in there and dig holes. I wonder what that is right in the middle of the golf. Oh, okay, that's their little holding yard. Alright, so this, Canberra, Australia. Let's have a look at some pictures, hey? So, Old Parliament House in Canberra. And of course, a parliament is a group of owls. So, Old Parliament House, formerly known as the Provisional Parliament House. Now, I've never heard that statement, and I've lived in Australia my whole life. Up until 1988, it was just Parliament House. I've never heard this provisional thing. It was the seat of the Parliament of Australia from 1927 till 1988. So there you go. Didn't even serve too long, 61 years. The Commonwealth transferred the new Parliament House on Capitol Hill In 1998, the Commonwealth Parliament transferred to the new Parliament House on Capitol Hill. It also serves as a venue for temporary exhibitions, lectures and concerts. Okay, so let's have a bit of a look here. In keeping with its classical forms, the building has strong symmetrical planning. Oh, I thought they were going to tell us about the plans. But they're just going to tell us of someone's vision, because they have no plans. The major access through the building, which is a part of the land access of Walter Burley Griffin and Mahoney Griffin's design, is through King's Hall, the Parliamentary Library and the King's Dining Room. Oh my gosh, so that's really all they've got to put in here. So it's really nothing. They're just explaining the layout under plans. So, you know, they've got nothing. They've got no construction plans or anything for this. Photos, nothing. It says it was extended, because that's what you do. You build these massive, massive buildings, right? Like this. You know, imagine the foundation you would need for that. And then they just, you know, whack on an extension 3 years after it was built. A competition was announced in the 30th of June 1914 to design Parliament House with prize money of £7,000. However, due to the start of the World War, the next month the competition got cancelled and was re-announced in August 1916. So they literally, you know, with everything, and we see this everywhere, don't we? All these huge buildings and Parliament buildings and, you know, pre-planned cities and stuff. They're all done by competition. It's not like they know the best architects and stuff. It's just, oh, we'll just put out a competition. See who we like. It's always the same deal, and they just got these random people that basically build or design one building, we're told. It's amazing, glorious architecture, and then they disappear. So none of this makes sense. I mean, I'm looking actually here for history, and as you can see, I still haven't hit it. It's just all crap. It's just all fluff to try and build up some kind of narrative, because if this building was just sitting out in the middle of the desert, and as you can see, nothing on construction, nothing on history. You know, they say first decade, but it's only, you know, the building was open, these people came, they had this furniture. It's just a joke. There's not even any good pictures here. They just, I mean, come on. Let's have a look here. We've got the Royal Arms, and we have the lion that we see everywhere, of course, crowned, and the unicorn. And here we have Australia, the emu and the kangaroo. So what does that... And here, of course, we have the opening. The official opening of Parliament House, the first Parliament House in Canberra, Australia, 1927. And as you can see, it's just out in the middle of nowhere. It looks like there's a bit of a dirt road here, but there's definitely no main roads up to get all their, you know, construction equipment and workers in. Got a few people standing around for a bit of a photo. Oh, not the best photo, but I mean, yeah, look at that. Just this big, huge white building, 4 stories high, 3 stories, just out in the middle of the desert. And here is another photo I found. Now, this is marked as construction photo of old Parliament House. So you can see there's a person here, a small person. We've got this construction. So we've got 1 story here. This is double, and this is the high 3-story bits. So this is Parliament House here. So these are the higher bits you can see sticking up, the 3-story bits. And then I'm not sure how it all fits in. So they're the taller bits. This just looks like it's definitely comes forward. Because what I'm trying to see is this. See how this is completely flat out the front here? It's all been flattened off. See here, we've got 1 story, but then we've got this big, you know, cover up of mud. And then another one. So we've got these layers. So are they uncovering this building? Because there's no workers there. There's no roads going in. There's, you know, there's no materials or supplies anywhere, but this is pretty much a fully finished building. Now, so how much did they actually dig these buildings out of the ground, and how much was re-facading was actually done, because this looks like a ruin. It looks huge, but they're telling us that that is this. And here's a bit of a better shot of that pic. Well, it's not the pic I showed before, but it's the same day, opening day. You can see there's not that many people. This is the grand opening of the Parliament House of Australia. We've got maybe 1,000 people turned up, a few cars. So this is out in the middle of nowhere. There's no one out there. Of course, we've got a flagpoles out the front and there. And this is just a search for old Canberra Parliament House construction. And all they're showing us, this is the old one, this is the new one. But no construction photos. And if we get any, they're of the new Parliament House, not the old one. So we get things like this. This is the new Parliament House being built here. You can see all the rest of the infrastructure is there now. Old Parliament House, is that it? I guess that's it there. Looks a bit small, doesn't it? But you can see what a, I mean, look at the geometry in this building. It's just, and of course it's capped with a huge pyramid on top, with a big tower coming out of it. So yeah, basically nothing. We get this opening day picture, and that's our construction photo. That's all they're going to give us. Here you'll see just down the road. So this is just a shot of the new Parliament House and the boulevard that it's on. So same kind of design. We've got our huge boulevard. Got our reflection pool. This is old Parliament House. And then above it we have new Capitol Hill, and look what's on top of it. Big pyramid with a big antenna on top. But as far as Canberra, we don't really get a lot. It's really this photo. And of course they're going to show us here a bit of Canberra as it was back in the day. And as you can see, there's nothing there. Something buried under this big hill by the looks of it. And apart from that, there's really nothing going on. So who built all these buildings? We've got this guy out there in a full suit and his hat, looking a bit dodgy. It's a bit of a watcher. Nice gum tree, and yeah, that's it. Tin sheds and broken down wooden fences. And these are the same people that, built this and built this. So yeah, as you saw, no construction photos, no plans, no anything like that, no talk about or mention of who built this place, where all the products and materials were manufactured. Just nothing at all, the same as always. And so there's not a lot of old photos of Canberra. There's definitely no construction photos of much at all, apart from the new Parliament House. This shot's from back in the 70s, bit of an aerial view. But as you can see, we've got this big hexagon in the middle with the circle, and then these buildings sort of around the outside. So clearly it looks like this geometry was designed first and then the buildings put in later, because these are all new sort of 70s type buildings, 70s and 80s by the looks of it. But again, we get these funny shaped buildings straight off the bat. Now this is Canberra was still tiny back in the 70s. Here is an older shot. Now this one, when you'll see, this is where it is. It's in the middle of nowhere. But look, this was the first thing they mapped out. Look at this pentagon. And of course we have the big boulevard going up here. And nice row of trees. I wonder if that's an old canal system of some kind. But yeah, look at this big boulevard all lined out. Before any buildings, also they say. There's a few bits, pieces. This is a big hill. So how much of this was uncovered? Because it is in a strange place. Very random. Here's an old picture again. I'm not really sure of what the date is, but I just found these, the shapes of these buildings. And these are new constructions as far as I can tell. We've got one going up here. Still got our boulevard down the middle. So this is, they've either found this and they're uncovering it, or they've copied it or printed it in the ground. I'd say they've probably uncovered it. And here's another old shot as well. And of course we have our big Pentagon. Have the second one in the middle here, and look up here, even with the plant out of the trees. This is all just, claiming land, putting their spells and geometry down on it so that they can control the capital, right? The capital from the hill, the capstone. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Just wanted to show you a bit of Canberra. And if you look on Google Earth, if you go to any major cities, capital cities, you'll find that they all have this same or similar, geomancy, geometry in the ground, and it's obviously been usurped. The meaning changed, and they were trying to reverse it. And the meanings, and uses of these things have obviously been changed and reversed and usurped. So I think it was a lot more to do with water and flowing energy and current and all this. But they seem to have done something, blocked up the current and reversed the flow. So it all seems to flow up to this Capitol Hill. These Capitol Hills in the front, we have these scrying reflection mirrors. So there's a lot going on here, guys. The invaders, the Archons, they're building this world, and they're not telling us what it is, and it's got nothing to do with us. It's a takeover. It's what it is, and they're finding all the old world cities with all the old tech and all the old good stuff, and they're subverting it all. They're taking it over, knocking down the bits that they need to, for their plans, and rebuilding their own structures on top, as the Freemasons. And I just wanted to finish on this photo. Now this photo, this says the Archives Office of New South Wales in Australia. Up here, of course, we have this lion sitting on the top of a column. Not sure if he's holding a sword or not. But look in the background, look at all these towers everywhere. And this says New South Wales, but domes, arches. I've never seen a picture like this. This bit here, it just looks like Europe, but it says here the Federal City, Lake George, New South Wales, view from the Governor General's residence. I mean, look at this place. It looks like, what's this? Like, seriously, look at that. Lake George in New South Wales, or so they say. So I did a search for Lake George, New South Wales, and I did not get columns and old world buildings. Here's a view across the bay. No buildings, no nothing. Well, that's very nice, very squared rock aqueduct reservoir. But yeah, where's all these old buildings? So a bit more of a look, and it takes us to the government house, which is, of course, is a castle. But none of this. And that looks, is that a drawing? I'd say that's probably a drawing, who knows? I mean, that could be a photo with, a filter put over it. I mean, look at this thing. So what is that? This is definitely going to need more investigation, because looking down here, like, here's a drawing of, they're admitting there's a castle there, but that's all they're showing. The only other interesting pic I found was this, which is some old picture or drawing of Sydney, and someone's drawn in where the bits and pieces are. But again, look at this, completely flooded out, nothing there, a few little crappy houses. But then they're telling us, because you've got to understand, Australia was, discovered, they say, the first fleet, 1788. So the first cities, first colonies were really, early 1800s, very early 1800s. So what date is this? Because this picture, where was it, up the top? No, it doesn't give us a date, but what's the date of this picture? How did they get all this built within 100 years or less, and then knock it all over? Yeah, kind of blowing me away a little bit, this picture. I have no idea what I'm looking at. Look at this thing here. I mean, this is just ridiculous. This is full old world. Full old world, and they say this is Sydney, New South Wales. Alright, so yeah, more investigation needed, guys. So I hope you enjoyed that one. Bit about geometry and geomancy in the ground. The capital is money, right? Capital investment, Capitol Hill. So that's how they've taken over, and they've changed the currency, and they've changed the use of all these magnificent old world buildings. We had it all there. It was all working, and the parasites have come in and destroyed it, taken away the free energy, the free everything, so they can charge us, because they want to be in charge of the currency. Alright, thank you for spending some time with me, guys. Have an awesome day, and I'll talk to you all on the next upload. Bye for now.